Another week's over, and like Phil Connors, you got another one to come. I'm Van Connor. This is Off Screen. You got 7 days in front of you, and we're gonna fill them with movies. Boom. Welcome to Off Screen, your boy Van Connor in the house, and I'm joined this week by fellow film critic and, of course, interior decor goddess as well, Miss Rebecca Perfect. Welcome back, Bex.
Thanks very much. Very kind, very kind. Throwing my other life.
You did the IKEA thing this
I
week.
did,
Cool.
yeah. It was really cool. Anyone in Tottenham Court Road, go and check it out. There's lots of colour in the IKEA store from me.
It was. I was astonished. It was very cool. Yeah. So, on to movies then. So we're going to talk about some movies for the week. So we've got the first. This is probably the big hitter this week, isn't it, really?
Is it?
From the marketing, I would say. It's either this or Annabelle, isn't it? It's one of the two.
Well, yeah, I'd probably put Annabelle above this, but from the poster, The Dead Don't Die looks amazing.
It's like Shaun of the Dead, doesn't it? From the poster?
Yeah, like B-movies meet Shaun of the Dead. But the thing is that this movie has got 1,000,001 great actors in it. Yeah. You know, cult actors that we all love, from Bill Murray, Tilda Swinton, Steve Buscemi.
Tom Waits, though. Like, people like Tom Waits.
I know,
really?
Right? But the thing is, and I hate to say it, and I'm going to kick this off on a bit of a Debbie Downer.
Wait.
What?
Before you get there, because I think I might have the exact same thing, and we've got it in the clip.
Okay.
So let's play the clip, and I think we're thinking of exactly the same thing.
Alrighty.
So what are you thinking? You really want to know? I'm thinking zombies.
What?
You know, zombies. Ghouls. The undead.
You're trying to tell me you're thinking zombies did this?
Yep.
If those pauses in that small trailer really affected you in a non-positive way, try watching something with those pauses for an hour and 45 minutes.
It goes on, doesn't it? It
oh
really does.
My goodness.
Oh.
This is a really, really rare occasion where I'm absolutely in love with the poster, hate the film.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair.
I mean,
That can happen.
it can happen, but it's like, it's all over the tubes. It's everywhere. It's got this amazing cast. It looks a bit sort of Kill Bill-esque with Tilda Swinton with a samurai sword. It looks really fun, and then you watch it and you're like,
oh, it's a snoozer, isn't it?
how can you make a zombie movie a snoozer? I just don't get it.
It's also, is it me or has this come like a decade and a half late?
Yeah, it really has.
And it feels like a movie that would have actually been made in about 97, 98 as well.
And probably worked. I mean, this is deadpan. This is like, you know, and I'm not the biggest fan of deadpan comedy. It's very dry. And you kind of go, do you know what? I could watch anything that Bill Murray's in. But this really tested me. I mean,
it's a trier, isn't it? But having said that, it's like the fun cast in there. They do get a couple of moments here and there. Steve Buscemi does get a moment, for instance.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Steve Buscemi's character in particular signifies...
Say Buscemi.
Buscemi. We'll go Buscemi. Yeah. Tomato. But his character kind of exemplifies for me everything that's wrong with this movie. There's so many ideas in there, and they just never get explored. Now, you take, for instance, the Steve Buscemi baseball cap. He has a certain iconic red baseball cap.
Yes, he does, yeah.
And this leads, other than one acknowledged comment very early on, this leads to nothing.
Yeah.
Within the story, you start thinking, okay, if you're going to be doing like Night of the Living Dead,
and chatting to Danny Glover at the same time, you know,
if we're going to keep riffing on Night of the Living Dead, which was a satire, then let's be satirical, but don't set up satire and then do nothing with it. I found it, and the fact that it wasn't funny then on top of that.
I know the jokes just didn't land. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the director's previous movie, Only Lovers Left Alive. I
Did you like Patterson with Adam Driver? Did you see that one?
No, I didn't see that one, but I have to say, with Only Lovers Left Alive, I remember, I think I was in Cannes, or I was at the London Film Festival or somewhere watching it.
Ooh la di da.
Oh yes, but unfortunately I think that was the point in which I'd seen so many movies I fell asleep. So I was just like, you know, because it just didn't keep me awake.
The critic slumber.
The critic slumber was real.
So many,
and like, don't get me wrong. I think if you're going to do a quirky movie, you need Tilda Swinton in it. You need it to kind of work in that way. She is bizarrely good as a Scottish funeral home director who has a penchant for samurai stuff.
she's a mortician ninja.
Yeah.
A mortinja.
And there are those really clever sort of directorial bits, like she swoops around and and just very elegantly cuts off the head of a couple of zombies without even thinking about it.
Tilda Swinton's had some practice, let's be honest.
But
Tilda
I'm like,
Swinton's...
are you trying to be Tarantino with some of that kind of work? Are you trying to, bring us back Dawn of the Dead or something like that?
What is the weird Tom Waits thing all about? Can't quite explain that.
Iggy Pop, why are you in it?
There is an entire storyline in this movie about 3 kids in a juvenile home or something.
Right.
And in no way, in no way does it tie into anything else going on in the movie.
This is the problem. Nothing ties in apart from the central characters of Adam Driver, Chloe Sevigny, and Bill Murray, who just go around going, "Oh, this is weird."
Basically, but for at least a minute and a half longer each time.
Yeah.
This is weird.
Oh, so painful.
This
I
is
hate
weird.
to say it.
You're telling me you think this is weird? Yes, this might be weird. It's that, isn't it?
It literally is
so
that.
drawn
it's
out.
like watching paint dry.
Yeah,
it's such a shame.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, I wanted so much more from this.
Yeah, I just wanted some action, right?
Yeah, I wanted it to be entertaining at any point. But anyway, okay, let's move on really quickly. I'll tell you what, in fact, before we go to Kursk, I heard a bit of film news on the way over.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know Christoph Waltz apparently has been spotted filming stuff on Bond 25?
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so apparently Blofeld could be on his way back. We'll see.
We'll see. It's interesting. Damn it, I wish I didn't know that.
What?
Well,
It's on the front page of all the tabloids on the way down.
No, I avoid all that. I avoid trailers. I avoid tabloids. I avoid everything so I can go in like a purist.
Okay, what about true stories then? Do you find that ruins the movie for you if you know the true story beforehand?
No, that makes me more intrigued.
Okay, so Kursk was one where I had that,
Okay.
where I knew the true story, and this is the Kursk Russian submarine disaster in 2000.
Right.
And the basic story was...
Am I supposed to have known that happened in 2000?
You may or may not.
Okay.
It was fairly big news. This was the famous incident whereby everyone kept trying to offer Russia help rescuing one of their damaged submarines.
Okay.
And Russia kept refusing, and then it turned out they maybe should have asked.
Do you know
for
what?
some help.
I'm going to go easy on myself here. I know exactly where I was when this news broke.
Go on, where were you?
I was in Australia on my gap year.
Oh,
I wasn't reading any newspapers, checking any news.
You were a gap year girl. You're so clearly a gap year girl. Why did I never see it? Okay, so Kursk, which is now a dramatised retelling, it's directed by Thomas Vinterberg, who brought us The Hunt, who brought us Far from the Madding Crowd. You'll know those movies. It stars Mateusz Schoenaerts as the...
Also in Far from the Madding... No, not Far
from the Madding Crowd.
Yes, he was in Far from the Madding Crowd.
Exactly,
yes.
Mateusz Schoenaerts as...
I like him.
I think he's the chief engineer of the sub. And Colin Firth as the Brit naval commander trying to open ties with the Russians. We've got a clip to very quickly set the tone up for you.
We have the divers and the equipment. I implore you to accept our help.
If your help is needed, we will let you know.
Do you know how much air they have? Their condition? You want our men to die for nothing!
Surprisingly, a bit of a snoozer.
Oh, I was just going to say, that sounded quite dramatic.
The trailer, because that's a trailer clip, it's way more dramatically, way more dramatic when it's edited down. I mean, it's a very slow
Classic,
movie.
that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything's in the trailer.
Yep. Imagine that.
I mean, that lady who was just shouting sounds like she's throwing chairs against the wall, so that's how dramatic that
is. Yeah.
Okay.
But they say they've got this cast like Mateusz Schoenaerts, Colin Firth, Max von Sydow, and Lea Seydoux, and none of them get to do anything. The story's there if they want to tell it, but they seem to be incapable of mining any drama.
So is the story itself exciting enough to be brought to screen as a film?
I mean, the concept.
Yeah.
The concept of the story is yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And but then again, you sit there. I don't see how it could particularly be any more entertaining than Oliver Stone's 2006 World Trade Center movie with Nicolas Cage and Michael Pena. Remember that one?
Kind of.
Where they were just in the rubble for like the entire movie and it was all flashbacks.
No, but again, Michael Pena is someone that I will always go and watch, and I'm just trying to rack my brain to see whether or not I need to go back and check that back catalogue there.
And I said, yeah. I do love some Mickey Pence. Okay, so let's skip a beat. We'll come back. We'll review some more of this week's big releases, including the return of a certain killer doll. And no, this one is not played by Mark Hamill.
Groovy.
And we're back with more from the world of film. So, Miss Perfect, let's carry on at the multiplex, shall we?
Okay. This is an interesting one. You've been to see this,
right? I have. Yes.
This is Pavarotti in cinemas on Saturday. Weird time. But it's a documentary. Is it?
It's a documentary directed by Ron Bloody Howard. You know.
Hasn't he directed another documentary recently?
The Beatles one.
Oh, the Beatles one. I was going to say, is it Armstrong? No.
No, it was 8 Days a Week.
Yeah.
He directed 8
He's
days
been
a
busy.
week, the Beatles one. And, well, like I said, this seems to be his little side gig now. He goes off and he does, musician biopics.
Fair play to him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like 8 Days a Week needed 2 sequels.
Yeah.
But it needed
for the whole back catalogue.
Yeah, it needed 9 and 10 days a week. But Pavarotti, so this is, imaginatively enough, a chronicle of the life of Luciano Pavarotti.
Yeah.
Of course, I think to people our age, we seem to have this flickering memory of about 1990, I think.
1990, 1992, to do with the World Cup.
Yes, around then.
Yeah, I had a 6-inch vinyl of Nessun Dorma.
Did
you?
Yeah,
which actually my parents loved, and therefore I loved in my very early days, and would play it on repeat and pretend to be Pavarotti.
Good Lord.
I know, it's what happens when you're an only child.
You just classy AF, aren't you? Okay, so we're very familiar with the man, but I remember the Three Tenors was around that kind of time when the Three Tenors formed. So say, this is the chronicle of all that. I'll tell you what, one of the things it also explores is the relationships in his life with different people, including with the late Princess Diana. And the clip we've got is of the first time they actually crossed paths, which was at a gig in Hyde Park in the pouring rain, and everyone had umbrellas. And then, imaginatively enough, this happened.
If you could you lower your umbrellas? Everybody's wet. And enjoy it. Thank you very much.
And the first person to jump up was Princess Diana, who had a guy behind standing with an umbrella who said, take the umbrella down. And there was this ripple effect all the way back through the audience. Everybody put their umbrellas down and the concert carried on.
The next aria is from the same opera that I have sung now, Manon. Donna non vidi mai. It means I have never seen a woman like that. And with your permission, I would like to dedicate to Lady Diana.
Oh, do you know what? Firstly, I thought, who's the narrator? Is it Michael Caine? At the beginning. But then I thought, actually, it's really lovely to hear Pavarotti speak as well.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, in a strange way.
Very, very good English, in fact.
Tell you what, had you ever seen him when he was young?
No. Are you going to tell me he was a hottie?
Did you ever seen Jack Huston? You know the actor Jack Huston? That's it. Jack Huston. If
Perfect
Jack
casting.
Huston ever tried to play Stan Smith on American Dad, he would look like young Pavarotti.
Wowzers, okay.
And that was exactly... I mean, I thought this was a really sweet and really touching documentary. I thought
never seen such an emotional side to you.
I know, I was blown away because I have no interest in Pavarotti whatsoever. And I suppose if you really break it down, it is quite a nuts and bolts piece, but it's just that there happens to be enough material to actually spin a pretty compellingly decent yarn out of it, you know.
Do you know what? And I think that's a huge kudos to Ron Howard, because in terms of great documentary makers, so for me, right now, Asif Kapadia can get me excited to learn about anyone that he decides to put on screen because of his technique and his form and everything that he puts out there. So if it's done well, I don't mind who I'm learning about, you know? That's the thing. So. Maradona, I'm not really that into football, but I was fascinated.
I didn't get to see that.
Oh, well, as soon as the 80s synthesizers start at the beginning of that movie, it's got you. And the thing is that with something like Pavarotti, you're right, maybe it was a flickering memory of 20, 30 years ago for you. Maybe you are a younger listener who actually has never really heard, other than, you know, passing by as a name, Pavarotti.
I think because obviously since his passing, he's now referred to more as a legend having passed, isn't he?
Yeah,
in that sort of Elvis kind of
Do we remember when he passed?
Only a few years ago.
Yeah, it's quite a good few years ago. But the thing is that if the documentary is done well, you should go and see it to learn about someone. I am always someone who's much more... I will absorb information if it's visual, right? So a documentary is a great way of doing that. So this sounds good. I might go and watch
really
it this weekend.
By the way, a thing, because you love a 90s flick, as do I.
Yes.
How excited are you about the idea of Space Jam 2?
I don't know. I'm a bit nervous.
Don Cheadle is apparently now going to be in it as well.
Okay.
So, good thing about it, I'm not sure.
I just think, you know, if it doesn't date, right, leave it. And enjoy, and as a new audience, bring them in to watch the classic.
Yeah, also, I'm just going to put it out there, Space Jam, actually, and I'm sorry to be the guy to say this, actually isn't that good.
Okay.
Sorry.
But
had to be said.
also the animation from it people watching it, the new one, are going to be like, unless this is done in like CGI kind of like this is like Who Framed Roger Rabbit style initial animation, which of its time was great.
Very true.
What are we going to do now? I'm worried.
In fact, we should jump then.
Okay.
That's what we'll do now. We'll jump
Yeah.
onto Annabelle Coming Home. That's what we'll do. So Annabelle Comes Home was the third of the Annabelle
First time we jumped at all in this movie, what?
Well, yeah. Did you see this in the end?
I did,
Right,
yeah.
so let's say this is the third Annabelle movie. It's the trilogy close of the Annabelle trilogy, which is a spin-off trilogy of the Conjuring trilogy.
Yeah, which is essentially the horror's Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Exactly.
Right?
From which we've also had The Nun, The Curse of La Llorona. We're going to get the Skinny Man or whatever he's called, the Slender
Man. Oh, that's interesting.
It's a knockoff of the Slender Man.
Oh, okay, because there was a Slender Man film which just didn't even get a critic screening. I mean, yeah, whatever.
So, third one, this time around, it is back to the Warrens, isn't it?
It is, and I do you know what? I think when I see these spin-offs, I'm like, bring Ed and Lorraine Warren back into the movie. They are so strong. The first two Conjuring movies were brilliant.
Well, this is the weird part, because this brings them back into the fold, but this takes place in between the first two Conjuring movies. This takes place after Conjuring 1, but before Conjuring 2.
Right.
Because of the
Did
age
it actually happen?
It has to have, because of the age of the daughter, and this is the thing, this is all the setup. So, if you're not familiar with the plot of this, there is a doll named Annabelle, who is a conduit to all evil, and she actually brings forth a beacon to other spirits as well. She can reanimate other cursed objects around her as well when she's let loose. Basically, the teenage daughter of the Warrens, the paranormal investigators from the Conjuring series, she and
not
her
quite a teenager. She's 10 actually.
She's 10.
Yeah, she's 10 in this.
Oh, it's her 11th birthday, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I'm very attentive.
It's her teenage babysitter that's also in this. Probably
Yes.
who you were keeping your eye on mostly throughout this movie.
I'm not going to confirm nor deny that allegation, Miss Perfect. I'm offended at the insinuation. It's Madeline Iceman from Goosebumps 2 and Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Two movies which I know, again, you did not take your eyes off the screen once.
I really enjoyed Jumanji. Okay, anyway, I'll tell you what. Here's a clip of Annabelle to set it up for you.
Everything you see in here is either haunted, cursed, or has been used in some kind of ritualistic practice. Nothing's a toy. It's safer for these things to be in here than out there. Sometimes it's better to keep the genie in the bottle.
Don't your parents keep any creepy stuff around?
We keep it all locked away in a room so that we're safe. It's not really good for anyone to go in there.
Don't you think that the daughter has this like kind of Wednesday Addams kind of feel about her anyway? She's creepy in herself.
She kind of is, she really is. That's McKenna Grace from, is it Gifted with Chris Evans? You know that courtroom thing a couple of years ago?
Me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, listen, there's two ways of looking at this movie, right? Okay, so if you are...
Straight on or not at all? I prefer the latter.
Yeah, I didn't hate this as much as you did. The thing is, right, is that if there is a reason why there have been 3 Annabelle movies, okay?
Okay.
It's because somewhere out there is a fan base for it, okay? And people who people who are interested in it. What keeps me intrigued by it is the fact that Annabelle the doll, Ed and Lorraine Warren, they're all real people and things, and this may or may not have happened in this occurrence, but the doll certainly exists and is locked in this glass cage somewhere.
Very true.
So I quite like that. So if you have liked the first 2 Annabelle movies, probably the first one more so rather than the second, you may, out of intrigue, go and see this just to kind of complete that trilogy. However, if you have watched the other 2 and gone, meh, this is one to avoid.
I'm going to completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I am going to completely agree with every single word you just said. Also, this is the directorial debut of Gary Dauberman.
Okay.
Gary Dauberman
the first and last.
Well, I don't know, because he's set to direct Conjuring 3 next. Gary Dauberman has been a writer on the following films.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
Wolves at the Door. And that is all you need to know. Wolves at the Door, for the love of God. And also, I mean, he's written the garbage like the first Annabelle and things like that. And you just, really? Is this guy someone's cousin? Like, this is getting silly now. Anyway, beside the point, I thought it was rubbish.
You thought it was rubbish. I tell you what, it had a fundamental flaw, right?
Go on.
The jump scares and all that kind of stuff for me happened in the first act of this movie, and by the time we came to the climactic conclusion, I was a bit like, this is the least scary part of the movie at all.
Did you find as well, it took about 55 minutes to get to the actual setup?
Yes, I did, yeah.
Okay, so that's Annabelle Comes Home. That opens in cinemas. Well, that's actually in cinemas now. That's been in cinemas since Wednesday the 10th.
Yeah.
Pavarotti opens. It's got a one-night Q&A screening on Saturday night on the 13th. It's then opening on Monday 15th in cinemas for a few days as well. Other than that, you've got Kursk and Dead Don't Die in cinemas from today, Friday, 12th of July. And we'll be back with things to catch on the small screen. We want to give a shout out to our friends at Runway East where we record this show. They're on a mission to provide the world's best office space for startup teams and, well, they're doing pretty damn well at it. I'm partial to the roof garden myself. They're in London Bridge, Soho, Moorgate, very zen places to work. Give them a peep at runwayea.st. That's runwayea.st. And we're back, Miss Perfect, and we're headed to the living room now for the small screen. I mean, I don't know, how small is the screen in your house? How small is your TV?
I have a 50-inch TV.
You have a 50-inch TV?
Yeah, in my bedroom.
Is it one of those nice ones with like the wooden frame and things? I imagine you have a nice TV.
No, I went for the cheapest.
Don't we all? Yeah. Cheapest with an app store, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
But, okay, so we've got movies then coming up on telly for the next 7 days. And it's something you can just chill, kick back on the couch and enjoy. So let's start then with, should we do a comedy first?
Let's kick off with the comedy. White Chicks. 5-star, 7:50 p.m. on Saturday. Okay, I don't think this movie could be made nowadays.
Oh God, no! Oh God, no! They couldn't even follow this up. Remember they made Little Man?
Oh, I think I heard.
Oh,
I mean, obviously, I didn't see it. I think I saw this once back in the day when it came out, and I was not particularly au fait with it. I was a kind of watching it, going, really?
Oh, we loved it. I think I was in college when this came out. I'll tell you what, we've got a clip of it.
Okay.
Let's do the setup though. So this is two African American. Are they cops or FBI agents?
Something along those lines.
Who go undercover to try and catch a would-be assassin, and by doing this, they use prosthetic effects to basically turn themselves into what are effectively the Hilton twins.
Yeah, or they definitely look albino in it. It's really
They do
bizarre.
look strange, but they're meant to be like the Hilton twins. This is them arriving at like a debutante's ball in like a hotel ballroom. This is them literally stepping out of the car and immediately being objectified.
You sure this is gonna work? Just trust me. Follow my lead.
Hey, what's up, money? You got a problem? What you looking at my ass for? Nah, yo, hold my poodle. Hold my poodle. Hey, yo, what's up? Y'all got a problem? Y'all want some of this? You want some of this, punk? What? What, boy? What? I take the both of you. Marcus, get out of here. I got this for you. Mark, cut it out. What? He looking at me like I'm some kind of girl, man. You are a girl.
And you better start acting like one, or you're gonna be an unemployed girl. Oh, damn. Sure like to cut that cake.
Hey, yo, hold it. Hey, yo, you trying to look at my lumps? I'll pull off my G-string and handle mine. Come on, let's go. I'll handle mine, dog.
You just forget how goofy fun it was, actually, White Chicks.
They just don't make movies like that anymore, do they?
And it gave us, of course, that magic Terry Crews moment with Vanessa Carlton's 1,000 Miles.
Yes, indeed. I mean, this movie, I'm amazed that they're screening it. Like, in this cotton wool day and age, I can't believe that this has got some airtime. Maybe the fact that it's on 5-star is something to do. That says it all, really.
They keep talking about doing a sequel. It might still happen.
My goodness.
Never. Stranger things have happened. So let's go then to another film, actually, from the 90s this time, that seems to keep getting talk of sequels about once a decade. Sunday night then, ITV2. Sunday night, Sunday afternoon, ITV2, 4:15 p.m. It's Twister, Bex.
I love this movie, 100%. I went to Disney or Universal, wherever it was, to go on the Twister ride back in the day, which is essentially just putting you in a bit of a wind tunnel for a while with a few props.
Imagine. Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and you actually stand on the side, so you don't really see much. It's just they're like, oh, we can create this chemical or whatever it is, like the reaction to create a wind,
send the
a tornado
up
for you.
into the tornado.
Oh my goodness. Helen Hunt
and Bill Paxton.
Yes.
And here's the one that no one ever remembers about this movie, Philip Seymour Hoffman as well.
I do not remember him in
Philip
this.
Seymour Hoffman is a member of the team. He's the most noticeable. I think he's like the comic relief one. He and Alan Ruck are like the comic relief.
Unbelievable. Oh, I do. It's popped into my head. I can see him now.
It's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
This is the movie But for a number of years, I was very young when it came out. For a number of years, I wanted to be a storm chaser.
Really?
Afterwards, I was like, I want to get in a van and I want to chase tornadoes.
It was to do with the flying cow, wasn't it? That's
yeah,
that moment.
It definitely was.
Cow.
Or just to be in the eye of the tornado and just to have that moment of calm whilst everything is chaotic around you. I love this in all its 90s greatness.
You can get that just standing still on Oxford Street.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, so let's move forward to Monday. One I know you quite like now.
Quite like.
So you take us through this one, please.
This is a 5-star movie for me. So Monday night at 9 o'clock, set your watches, put it on record if you're not in. It's on Film 4. It is Sicario, okay?
Oh, I love Sicario.
This is a movie. It's Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve,
yeah. And Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro. This is like Mexican cartel. They do not hold back on the grime and the grit of this. And what it
brutal,
does, it's
it?
absolutely brutal. And it just gets you on every sense of the word.
We've got a clip actually of Josh Brolin as the hard-boiled DEA agent. I think he's Agent Graves. Of him having, let's just say, a not so subtle conversation with a potential would-be witness.
You went up the wrong tunnel. You saw things you shouldn't have seen.
What is Medellin?
Medellin? Medellin refers to a time when one group controlled every aspect of the drug trade, providing a measure of order that we could control. And until somebody finds a way to convince 20% of the population to stop snorting and smoking, order's the best we can hope for.
Sounds a bit Thanos-like, actually, when you think about it, doesn't it?
Do you know what, though? This movie, if you haven't seen it before, get it on the best screen that you possibly can. Get your sound bar going. Get all of everything so you can sort of just really engulf yourself in this.
For me, it's like Heat.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Heat in terms of that just down street level realism.
Yeah, and the sequel to this isn't that bad either. You know, I quite liked it.
Is that Soldado or Day of the Soldado?
Yeah, something along those lines. But I remember watching that, being so excited about it. It doesn't have the same impact as Sicario, but it's still a good sequel, which is great to know as well.
So, you know me, I'm a sucker for a bit of crap Arnie action from the 80s.
How dare you say it's crap?
I love the Austrian Oak, I do. And one of my personal favourites is 1985's John McTiernan directed Commando.
Yes.
Also produced by Joel Silver, I believe. So it is
I love these nuggets of information.
Proper action royalty. Not only does it star Arnold Schwarzenegger, it also stars Ray Dawn Chong as well.
Right, okay.
And most impressively of all, Bill Duke. It
Amazing.
stars Bill, and I love Bill Duke. And just weird little bit of trivia: Arnie's daughter in this is played by Alyssa Milano when she was an actual child.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that really dates this.
That really does as well. It really does, because now we're just used to seeing her in the background of Congress videos.
Yeah.
But she is the kidnapped daughter that Arnie must free by assassinating a South American warlord. I'll tell you what, it's not really 1/4 plot. The plot makes no sense when you start getting to it.
Which Arnie film really is.
Exactly, but this is Arnie at his absolute prime. And I'll tell you what, I've got you a clip
of
awful Arnie dialogue, brilliantly awful
Lovely.
Arnie dialogue.
Just what we need.
Him fighting Bill Duke.
You're scared? Well, you should be, because the Green Beret's gonna kick your big ass.
I eat green berets for breakfast.
And right now, I'm very hungry.
Oh, so naff,
It's just
right?
like that's like a number of different sound bites from multiple Arnie movies. That's hilarious. 1995, right?
Yeah.
This is a little bit of trivia for you from me, from my life in 1995.
Go on.
I had all my VHS collections, right, of movies. If it was classed from 1995 onwards, I class that as a modern movie, like cinema worthy. Like it's that, and I was like, the quality is so much better. This is me at 10 or whatever, going, this is so much better. So Commando would have been there as one of my
for sure.
Absolute up there movies, and I would have watched it with my dad, which would have loved. And classic Arnie, can't go wrong.
We'll hop through the next two. So Wednesday night, 5 Spike, 9 p.m. Time Cop, 1994, Jean-Claude Van Damme,
and the Splits.
Oh yeah, and the Splits. You remember he does
with a vortex behind him.
His little pants, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, come on, we all remember this. We all did go and see it. Don't even try and deny it. We loved
what
it.
What a movie.
I know.
So this is the one where Van Damme is a time-travelling policeman. He's
time-travelling cop. Time cop.
He's a time cop. It's not just a clever title, and he has to stop a corrupt senator from warping the time. Very good. You know, actually still pretty watchable. It's a nice, tight 90-minute kind of thriller.
And tight meaning, you know, tight when it comes to the splits.
Yeah, tight when it comes to the splits. And it's got Bill Cobb as his boss,
Brilliant.
whom I absolutely love. So Thursday night, movies for men, 10 p.m. I will admit this was a very thin list, but I quite like this. This is a movie called Foolproof.
Right.
This is a little-seen Canadian thriller starring Ryan Reynolds and David Suchet. And
Poirot
and Deadpool in the same movie, baby.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Okay, so the idea is that Ryan Reynolds and Kristen Booth and their male friend as well, they map out heists, but they literally only plan them. They plan the perfect foolproof heists just as an activity to do together. And one day an actual heist maker, an actual criminal comes along and he threatens them and he makes them do one of the plans. That's the movie. It's not bad. It's disposable fun. It's Ryan Reynolds kind of before he was big. 2004,
Move it along. Move it along.
Okay. Let's move along then. Friday night, BBC 4, 11:30. You haven't seen this one, have you?
Do you know what? I saw probably the first 20 minutes of this on a plane and I fell asleep. It's nothing to do with the movie. I was just tired on a long-haul flight. But Bros, after the screaming stops, this is the story of Bros. Matt and Luke Goss.
And actually, it's more specifically about their reunion. They go back.
Yeah, they are not
after
friends.
28 years. And it's really good.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll play you a clip, because the gimmick is that Luke Goss, the actor one from Blade 2, is really zen and really
I know, yeah.
And Matt Goss is just like this screaming prima donna. Here's a clip of him playing Cribs.
I think the letters H-O-M-E are so important because they personify the word home. Chess, love a bit of chess. Got the have a few glasses of scotch. Long game of chess. I love it. Here is the little kind of conversational corner.
Nothing more needs to be said other than when H-M-O-E spells home. And it kind of just
represents home, doesn't it?
Home.
The letters that spell it
that's
represent
probably
it.
as deep as this documentary is going to go.
Great fun, though.
Yeah.
Had a great laugh. Turns out I know more Bros songs than I thought I did. Good time. If you've not seen it, absolutely do. If you're a fan of Bros, this is absolutely unmissable stuff, and the film does a lot of fan service as well.
That's good.
Really weird special thanks card at the end, though, which includes, as you pointed out...
Yes, Pat Sharp.
Pat Sharp, the director of Kids, Larry Clark, Steve Martin,
yes, I know.
and Werner Herzog.
Oh, that's better than the Dead Don't Die poster.
It really is.
Amazing.
So, I mean, Luke Goss clearly has some weird friends. And we're back for some DVDs and streaming offerings, I think, then. What do you think?
Well, you make that sound so much more exciting than it actually is. I mean, who actually has DVDs again nowadays?
Do you not use DVDs anymore? You're not a DVD person now?
I had to clear out my house recently, and they went to the front of my house on the gate, and they were taken.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Tragic.
Because I was like, I actually haven't opened that cupboard in years. I had some absolute classics there, but I can still get them when I need them.
Yeah, that's the thing nowadays, isn't it? On demand is such a thing.
And I don't think my DVD player works. So.
I think the DVD system now is more just a measure of when things are available for you to actually buy online and stream.
Why not just say video on demand?
Video on demand, yeah. So let's talk then about films that are coming out on home platforms then. We'll just call them home platforms.
Home platforms, yes.
Home platforms on Monday, July the 15th. And the first one, we both saw, it was huge. Yeah. It made $1 billion.
Did it?
It did.
Oh, right, okay.
It did. It made $1 billion.
Well, if you're wondering what we're talking about, and my surprise, it's Captain Marvel. You know, I mean, the big one, I suppose. The big first...
You're not a fan, or...?
Well, no, look, the first female kind of Marvel lead in this. I think that's, Brie Larson, love her. Do you know, the thing that Marvel does really well is it gets the humour right. It's always kind of full of a nice balance of action, but dialogue and narrative and all this kind of stuff. This, for me, the thing I loved most about this was the soundtrack.
Okay, fair. Yeah, it was a good soundtrack, yeah.
But actually, I got quite bored.
Really?
Yes, and I wasn't the only one.
I did think it was a little bit duller than it needed to be. I thought, actually, it felt like one of its own Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like two-part
so it felt a bit
like
it should be on telly. It didn't really feel like it warranted the big Marvel, like it was over marketed maybe.
Do you know what part of that will actually be as well?
What?
Because it was actually filmed in Los Angeles, and very few films are actually filmed in Los Angeles anymore. However, TV shows are. So you automatically associate because the general aesthetic of LA now is associated in our minds with procedurals and television, murder solving shows and things like that. Exactly.
Look, don't get me wrong, and I'm not being a heathen towards Marvel at all, but Marvel has got such a strong catalogue of movies, and when something doesn't quite work in the way that the others have, you notice it.
I think this is bottom third for me of the Marvel collection. And that's, do you know, when there's 24 films, that's fine.
Yeah.
You know, that's a lot of films. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but, you know, bottom. Okay, so let's move on then. This is a film we saw together. And we
absolutely laughed our backsides off.
We had such a good time with this. Okay, so let's talk then about The Prodigy, which is one of those...
Oh, it's not a comedy, by the way, just in case you were wondering. No, it's a horror.
This movie, The Prodigy, came out the week Keith Flint died. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I didn't associate it at the time, but thanks for reminding me of that spooky coincidence.
So this is about a haunted child, effectively, and his mum, played by Taylor Schilling from Orange is the New Black,
who is very good. Yeah.
She's fine. Basically, she has a kid. The kid is born as a killer is killed, and his soul kind of jumps into the kid's body.
Yeah, I remember this now.
And as the kid starts to get older, he starts to exhibit signs of the behaviour of the murderer. And I'll tell you what, here's a clip of exactly how utterly ridiculous this gets.
The regression won't work if you're in the room.
Is this going to hurt him?
No. It's hypnosis. Miles goes out of body when the invading soul is present. He won't even remember the experience. The goal here is to identify the person who has returned, and this is important, find out what they want. I'm going to be candid with you, Sarah. This may be your last chance.
Do you remember, though, in this movie, there was that point when the doctor, gets brought in and he explains about how possession works, and a doctor actually says the words, "Wow, this explains so much."
Did you not think that clip with that sort of bed track and all that kind of stuff just sounded like a Richard Curtis movie? Like, it sounded like it should be. It's just totally not right for horror. This movie...
Oh, it had a ludicrous score, I remember that much. The score was insane.
Now, I remember being quite excited about this from the trailer.
What?
I did. I like the concept
Hang
of
on
it.
a minute, you didn't watch trailers 5 minutes ago?
Oh my goodness, I've broken my own rule. Maybe it was an offside.
Filthy lies.
I know. No. Every now and again I might
Rebecca
have
tarnished.
to see them. Whatever. But basically, I remember seeing the concept of it is cool. Like a child prodigy.
Yeah.
Goes a little bit scary. I quite like that for a horror. And I was like, okay, new direction for horror. Horror always has to reinvent itself, do something new. This is no Midsummer, let me tell you that.
Well, it doesn't do anything new.
But actually, gosh, it just didn't work. And
I don't know. I thought it was like kind of laughably, enjoyably bad.
No, I didn't even think that. I was more annoyed. I know we were laughing through it, but it's just like when you want it to be... I'm always gunning for a new horror. Just to give me something different.
I love watching a new horror movie with you and laughing and chuckling my way through it. It's one of my favourite parts of this job.
Yeah, I mean, it's also normally interspersed with me hiding behind my scarf or something because the jump scares scare me, but nothing scared me about this movie.
Let's jump over to streaming then.
Okay.
And these are both on Netflix this next week. So Netflix from Sunday the 14th, you have A Simple Favour launching on the platform.
I quite liked this movie.
It seems to be quite divisive. No, I liked it.
I liked it. Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively. Anna Kendrick is like the most annoying school mum ever.
Yeah, she's not likeable, is she?
No, she's not really, but she's got a son in school. She likes to do these like Martha Stewart style vlogs at home.
Vlogs.
Yeah, and she's got this incredible like camera set up in her kitchen. Anyway, all of the other parents at schools think she's a bit annoying. Yeah. We all know that kind of person, right?
If you don't, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
You don't know her, that's you.
Yeah, exactly. And she meets Blake Lively's character, who is this like mysterious mum who kind of, is a power mum. She works in the city and she comes in to pick up her kid.
Power top.
She is, she really is. And you've got this, and then within a very quick time frame, they become, and I say this in inverted commas, best friends.
We've got a clip
of them. Hang on,
no, I was going to jump in and help you. This is actually them becoming friends. This is them becoming friends for 10 seconds.
Okay.
And then you can jump on the back of that for me.
Fine.
Your drink? I need a martini.
Yeah, I like martinis. I haven't had one in a long time. They're good, though. had one that was like mostly chocolate, and I was like, alcohol and chocolate. Mom life.
Oh, okay. No play date. Come on, kid, let's go.
Then I'm staying here.
I think I could use some backup.
That's me? I'm backup?
Does your kid drink? Maybe? I mean, it's never too early to start teaching him.
I think you're joking, but great.
Oh my goodness. So if that clip doesn't tell you how annoying Anna Kendrick's character is in this.
She's a bit whiny in it.
She's really whiny, but also I so can relate in this guise to what Blake Lively's character's like. I'm like, yes, it's at 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's go and have a drink.
They become friends then, and it's...
And then something unravels, and it all becomes a little bit...
psychosexual.
Yeah, a little bit like that. And a simple favour turns into so much more.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Until I saw this movie... Actually, this and The Shallows...
Yes.
have made me a Blake Lively fan. Like, this movie on its own, I think Blake Lively is genuinely terrific in this film.
Yeah, she really is.
Like, this is a wow, where did that come from? Kind of performance.
No, she's great.
She's really good. I had a good time with it. I know some people don't quite buy into all the twists and turns. Who's the guy from Crazy Rich Asians who's in this movie that I really like?
Henry
Golding.
Yes. Yeah, and he's good in it. You know, I mean, he's a bit of a bit part as the husband and stuff, but do you know what? I think it works, and the fact that you're in suburbia, but then Blake Lively's character's got this ridiculous house there.
Sexy rich suburbia.
Yeah, it all plays to kind of things that people kind of watch on TV now, and kind of boils it in one movie.
And it's weirdly written and directed by Paul Feig as well.
So weird.
Who knew that one? Okay, so one last thing. We'll just do a real quick one on this. Also, this is on Netflix from Monday the 15th. South Park Bigger, Longer and Uncut. The South Park movie from 1999. No one knew until it dropped that it was a musical. They kept that to themselves.
I have seen
this. It's great, isn't it?
It is.
America goes to war with Canada, and the kids from South Park are caught in between. I tell you what, actually, I've got a quick clip of Conan O'Brien being used to incite war with Canada.
So, guys, does it make you nervous to be in America? There are a lot of organizations here that want you arrested for destroying children.
Oh, they'd have to find us first.
You're right. Now!
Terrence and Philip, Mothers Against Canada is placing you under citizen's arrest.
Mom? Dude, what the hell is going on?
We have a court order for your arrest. You are a bad man. Don't listen to them, Conan.
You loved our movie, Conan. We watched it together, remember? You laughed.
What have I done?
Bye, Coco.
Do you know what? I was going to have to confess that I hadn't seen this movie and gone, I've watched every single South Park episode there is in the 90s, but then hearing that and knowing the slots, I'm like, I definitely have seen this.
Remember what would Brian Boitano do? Remember?
Oh my goodness! Yeah. Like this is something that you do not want to miss on streaming.
Absolutely, check this out. It's so worth a revisit. I promise you, it's actually aged really well as well, because it always looked kind of old in the series. It's the old style, actual hand-drawn, hand-carved animation rather than the flash animation that runs it now. That really rounds it up.
Do you know? I think it's quite a strong week on and off the big screen. The small screen. I think you've got a great selection of 90s movies there. A few good things on streaming and Blu-ray and DVD if you still watch those. And generally in the cinema, it's a bit of a mid-level week, I think. But it's okay. It's okay. And the weather's good, so
Exactly. But in the meanwhile, you can join us next Friday for a new version of The Lion King, some period piece romance with Anna Paquin, and as weird as it sounds, a dark Welsh folk tale set in the Industrial Revolution. Now, there's a concept.
It's a shame that I'm on holiday.
I know, there's a concept you don't get every day. So you can get more reviews from me, meanwhile, Wednesday nights on the Late Late Early Early Show with Paul Ross on Talk Radio, and BBC Drive Time with Adam Ball, Thursday evenings on BBC Oxford and BBC Sounds. Bex, where can our listeners hear more of you?
Well, I do all the breakfast shows for the BBC Asian Network every Thursday morning, so you can catch me there with Harpscore presenting, and then I am also on Talk Radio with Julia Hartley-Brewer every Thursday morning as well at about 10 to 9 in the morning. But you can catch me on Instagram at Rebecca Perfect, and also if you're interested in interior design and not film, then why are you listening to this? But you can catch me at Love the Revision.
We need to find some sort of outlet that combines those two.
I know, right?
So give it up for Rebecca Perfect, ladies and gents. Otherwise, I've been Van Connor. This has been Off Screen. Keep it cinematic, and we'll catch you next time.